As a writer, I often think about the pace of my stories. I must place a well-articulated plot progressively in the minds of my readers so the story moves. A stagnant story is obviously no good. What with all the emotional relevance you expect to feel along the journey? I started realizing something recently, that my life had been on its own plot journey. I thought about the chapters or years, which seemed like stagnant points. I thought about how the author of my fate can't relay to me every detail I'd like to know. Just as my readers and the characters that I write need to trust my judgments with full faith, going all in, I need to have the same kind of faith in my author, the same reverence of genius and omnipotence, the same faith that the story is all it will ever need to be in the end. An immaculate masterpiece. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes, even though I have a better grip, a better understanding of just how complex and how deep this goes from the perspective of a creative, a creator, a writer, an author, I still find myself struggling to be that character. Not for my own books, but there is a gap between an author or a creator and their characters. And I realized a lot of it is in the message, in the point, in the purpose. And as a creator, as a writer, as an author, as someone with the power and the omnipotence to see a story from the beginning to the end, every single detail, and to be able to discover everything and make things up and pull magic out of thin air to make things happen. I'm overwhelmed and I'm speechless, and it surprises me more and more and more over time. Just how deep this goes, it's never ending. It's just like the universe, it's expansive and it keeps expanding. The more that you learn, the more you discover, and it just keeps going on and on and on. But as a character, it's kind of like, I don't want to say the complete opposite, because as a character you do recognize and realize and discover things about yourself as well, but there is such a deep gap between who you are and who you can be as a character when someone else has power over you, even if it's not someone you know, a higher power, a higher strength, a god, the universe. I feel this sense of smallness, I think, for lack of a better word, smallness and vulnerability, and like I'm as tiny as a bug that could just be squashed in an instant. I'm just a bunch of atoms moving through an endless space. And yet, here I am, and my story needs to be told. And I'm not telling it. There is an author who is writing my fate, who's written my fate, who knows where my story is going. And I don't really know everything about my story and where I'm going, but I need to trust that it's going in the right direction, despite the stagnant points, the obstacles, the very obvious frustrating points where, as a character, you hit a road and you wonder what to do next. I need to remember I am not alone in this. There is something, someone out there who knows what the end is. To me, that's God. To me, I know what I believe in. But I guess what I'm seeing is that gap is kind of my reason to stay humbled, because I can see and I can be so much as a creator, and at the same time, simultaneously, I can be so little and I can know so little. And it's crazy to me. It's incredible, but it's crazy, that parallel, that contradiction of sorts. But I'd like to open your mind to that. I'd like to, if you are a writer, open your mind to that idea that, wow, I'm so powerful. But at the same time, while I'm telling stories that are coming from within me, that are about people who are not me, they maybe have traits and all reflect certain parts of me, but they are not me. They're their own characters. While I have the ability to do that, I am also in their position in my own way. Something to think on. We have stories to tell, and it's not just stories that we write, but it's also who we are. I am such this small thing. I'm such a small thing that I'm just cruising through my own path, waiting for the next chapter, waiting for the next plot point to arrive, for me to have a new discovery, for me to learn more about myself, more about my world, more about what I'm supposed to do. And I feel so small when I don't know the answers. I feel so helpless sometimes. I feel so frustrated when I can't find solutions, when I can't understand why something is happening to me, when I feel like if I don't deserve what's happening to me, when I feel like I'm not enough because I am trying my hardest and it's never enough. And yet, ... Think about that.